When Ravi's family moved to the quiet village of Damper, they were searching for peace, away from the chaos of city life. They found a small house surrounded by fields, mango trees, and an open backyard perfect for their 6-year-old son to play. It seemed like paradise. But from the moment they arrived, their dog Bruno sensed something wasn't right. Bruno wasn't just any dog. He was part of the family. Loyal, sharp, and deeply attached to Ravi, he followed the boy everywhere. But within the first week in the new home, Bruno's behavior changed. He stopped wagging his tail. His ears remained perked up, and he would bark at random, especially near the far corner of the backyard, where a thick patch of tall grass swayed with the breeze. No one paid it much attention at first. Maybe he's just adjusting, Ravi's father said. But Bruno didn't calm down. Every day, around the same time in the evening, he would growl at that one corner. Sometimes he'd stand in front of Ravi and block him from walking toward the trees. If Ravi tried to run around the garden, Bruno would circle him, bark loudly, or even tug at his shirt with his teeth. Ravi, being a playful child, found it annoying. "Bruno, let me go," he'd laugh. But Bruno never joined in the laughter. He remained tense, alert, as if waiting for something to strike. One night, Ravi's mother heard scratching at the back door. It was Bruno, pacing, whining, restless. When she opened the door to let him out, he bolted into the garden and barked furiously at the darkness. It took a full hour to calm him down. That was the first time Ravi's father started to worry. Snakes. The old man next door said the following morning, sipping tea by the roadside. "That patch behind your house. Cobras like to hide there." "Cobras?" Ravi's mother whispered, horrified. "Yes, they come out mostly in summer. You need to keep an eye on your boy, and that dog of yours might already know." Suddenly, Bruno's strange behavior didn't seem so strange anymore. But life went on. They trimmed the grass, cleared some bushes, and avoided the area. Bruno still didn't relax. He paced the backyard like a soldier on duty. And then came the day it all made sense. The day when Bruno's warning turned into something far more terrifying. That afternoon, Ravi ran outside with a toy in his hand. Smiling, he headed toward the garden while Bruno, who had been resting in the shade, suddenly leapt up and growled louder than ever before. Within seconds, everything would change. The garden fell silent, except for Bruno's furious barking. Ravi, unaware of the danger, kept walking toward the toy he had dropped just near the mango tree. The grass there, though cut short recently, had started growing back. It was thick, uneven, and perfect cover for something deadly. From the porch, Ravi's mother shouted, "Ravi, come back!" But it was too late. The grass moved. Rising from it, like a shadow pulled from the earth, was a cobra. Its head flared wide, its eyes locked onto Ravi. The creature stood tall, coiled and ready to strike, its black scales gleaming under the sun. It had been watching, waiting for a moment just like this. Ravi froze. For a heartbeat, the world stopped. Then Bruno lunged. The dog didn't bark this time. He didn't growl. He launched himself between Ravi and the cobra with terrifying speed. The snake struck, but missed Ravi by inches. Its fangs grazed in the air as Bruno shoved the boy out of the way with his body. The cobra recoiled and hissed furiously, angry at being interrupted. But Bruno didn't give it another chance. He growled from deep within his chest and charged the snake again. The first bite landed on Bruno's shoulder. He yelped, but didn't back down. The second bite caught his front leg, but Bruno snapped his powerful jaws around the cobra's body, lifting it off the ground and flinging it away like a rag. Ravi was now crying, crawling back toward the house. His mother rushed out, screaming his name. Neighbors ran in from all directions. Someone shouted, "It's a cobra!" Another came running with a long stick. The snake, now injured and enraged, tried to strike again, but with a powerful final leap, Bruno bit down on its head, holding on until the snake finally stopped moving. When the danger was over, Bruno staggered back. His legs trembled. Foam dripped from his mouth. His breathing grew shallow. Then he collapsed. "Get the vet! Now!" someone shouted. A neighbor pulled up on a motorcycle, and they laid Bruno across a blanket, riding fast to the nearest animal clinic, 15 kilometers away. Ravi was still crying, clutching the dog's collar they had taken off. "Please don't let him die," he kept whispering. "Please." At the vet clinic, time moved painfully slow. The vet checked Bruno's pulse, shook his head grimly, and said, "It's bad. 2 bites. But we'll do our best." Ravi waited outside the room, his eyes fixed on the closed door. He didn't care about the snake anymore. All he cared about was a dog who would save him without a second thought. The boy had almost died. But Bruno, his best friend and protector, had chosen to take the venom instead. And now, the question wasn't about Ravi's life anymore. It was whether Bruno would make it through the night. The waiting room was filled with nervous silence. Ravi sat on a wooden bench, clutching the dog's worn collar in his small hands. His eyes were red from crying, but he refused to leave the vet's side. Every few minutes, the vet came out with updates, sometimes hopeful, sometimes grim. Bruno had been bitten twice by a deadly cobra, and the venom was spreading fast. The vet worked through the night, giving anti-venom, fluids, and pain relief. It was a battle against time. But through it all, Bruno showed something more powerful than medicine could measure: willpower. On the 3rd day, Bruno's breathing grew steadier. His tail wagged faintly when Ravi entered the room. It was a first sign of hope in what felt like an endless nightmare. Ravi knelt beside him, stroking the dog's tired fur. "You saved me, Bruno," he whispered. "You're my hero." The whole village soon learned of Bruno's bravery. Neighbors brought food and water, built a small shaded shelter in the backyard, and made sure the dog never lacked attention. Bruno had become a legend, but to Ravi, Bruno was simply family. The boy's nightmares about snakes didn't stop right away. He often woke up screaming, remembering the terrifying eyes of the cobra. But Bruno, though weak, was always nearby, resting his head gently on Ravi's lap, comforting him without words. Days turned into weeks, and Bruno grew stronger. Though he never quite returned to his playful self, his spirit remained unbroken. Ravi's parents often said, "Without Bruno, we wouldn't have our son today." It was true. Bruno had risked his life without hesitation, choosing to protect his best friend above all else. Years passed, and Bruno grew old. His steps slowed, his eyes dimmed, but his loyalty never wavered. Even when he could barely stand, he still watched over Ravi, ready to protect him if needed. Ravi often told the story of that day to his friends and family, always ending with the same words. They said the snake would kill him, but the dog didn't let it happen. It was a story of courage, love, and the silent bond between a boy and his dog, a story that reminded everyone. Heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they have 4 legs, fur, and a heart bigger than the world. And for Ravi and his family, Bruno would always be their greatest hero, the dog who saved a life and never gave up,